On the evening of August 6, 1930, Judge Joseph Crater said goodbye to his friends outside a New York City restaurant. He disappeared into the night, never to be seen again. This secured his position in popular culture as one of the most mysterious missing person cases of the 20th century. Judge Joseph Crater and his wife Stella led a more than comfortable lifestyle. As an attorney at the law firm of Wagner, Quillinan, and Rifkind, he was said to have defended many gangsters of the era. According to some accounts, as an attorney, Joseph Crater earned between $75,000 to $100,000 a year, over $1 million in today's money. In April of 1930, at the age of 41, Joseph Forrest Crater became a judge for the New York Supreme Court. It's accepted by most people that Judge Crater was in the pocket of the Tammany Hall Society. Tammany Hall was part of the Democratic Party political machine and had a huge influence over New York politics of the time. Prior to taking office, Judge Crater withdrew $20,000 from his bank. It's widely suspected that the money was a payoff to Tammany Hall to help him secure his position on the court. The Craters enjoyed a comfortable lifestyle that included a summer cabin in Maine. Judge Crater also enjoyed activities away from his wife, including the New York nightlife, fine food and drink, Broadway shows, and Broadway showgirls. There were some occurrences leading up to the judge's disappearance that, in retrospect, may seem suspicious. In July, while vacationing in Maine, the judge received a telegram. He told his wife Stella that it was from a professor at the University of New York, telling him to enjoy his vacation. 2 days later, the Craters, along with their driver, took a car trip into Canada. While outside Quebec, the judge entered a bank. He explained that he wanted to exchange some money. Later, Stella wondered if he hadn't really set up a bank account. Soon after, Judge Crater received a strange phone call. He told Stella that he had to return to New York to straighten these fellows out. He arrived at his New York apartment the next day, then traveled on to Atlantic City for what he said was a political meeting. According to some reports, he was accompanied by a woman he was seeing on the side, Sally Lou Rizzi. Early the next day, on August 1st, he returned to Maine. 2 days later, on August 3rd, he told Stella he needed to return to New York to clear some things up. He said he would return by August 9th, which was her birthday. Stella said that Crater seemed to be in good spirits about his second trip. Although nobody knows exactly why he returned to the city, his actions on the day he went missing, August 6th, have been well documented. Crater began the day at the courthouse. Accounts vary slightly, some saying he was busy destroying documents and stating that he was mysteriously going through his files, placing documents into 2 leather briefcases and 5 cardboard portfolios. He gave 2 checks for a little over $5,000 to his court attendant, Joseph Elmara, and asked him to cash them and bring the money back. When Mara returned, the judge placed the 2 envelopes of cash in his inside coat pocket. That amounted to over $70,000 in today's money. The judge then instructed Mara to pick up the 2 cases, sometimes referred to as suitcases, other times as briefcases, and take them to the Crater apartment. He was then told he could have the rest of the day off. The judge next went to purchase a ticket to a Broadway show. He was told there were no tickets, but if one became available, it would be left at the will call window at showtime. He proceeded to Billy Haas's Chop House on West 45th Street. There he met a friend, William Klein, and Sally Lou Rizzi. Both Rizzi and Klein said that Crater was in a good mood throughout the dinner and that nothing seemed wrong. After dinner, they said goodbye outside the restaurant. Rizzi and Klein initially said that the judge entered a cab which headed west. Later, after his disappearance, they both changed their story and said that he walked away and they got into the cab. Someone went to the Belasco Theater that night and picked up the ticket that was reserved for the judge, but no one knows who took the ticket, if it was used, or when it was picked up. Nobody ever saw Judge Crater again. Judge Crater was not reported missing for a full month after that date. Perhaps his wife, being used to his being gone, did not feel a sense of concern. Whatever the reason, much valuable time was lost in the interim. Although his body was never found, he was declared legally dead on June 6, 1939, almost 9 years after he vanished. Sally Rizzi left New York after Crater's disappearance. She was tracked down at her parents' house in Ohio and claimed that she had returned home to care for her ailing father. She denied having anything to do with Judge Crater's disappearance. Police never quite believed her, but they had no proof otherwise. Another of the judge's girlfriends, Vivian Gordon, was a high-powered call girl. She had intimate relationships with many of the kingpins of New York's underworld. In 1931, she offered to testify about government corruption in light of Crater's disappearance. She was murdered just 5 days later. When police searched her house, they found Judge Crater's coat. Dozens of theories exist. Here are just 4. Stella Crater, the judge's wife, contracted a hit. It would have been a reasonable theory considering all of his philandering and corruption. After the judge's disappearance, Stella wrote a book about the disappearance. Despite much evidence to the contrary, she claimed that her husband had no underhanded dealings and was never unfaithful. Perhaps this sounds like a case of the lady doth protest too much. A third girlfriend of the judge, June Price, also fled New York after Crater's disappearance. Decades later, she was found in a mental institution. During the height of the Crater case, lawyers argued that Bryce's mobster boyfriend had blackmailed and then killed the judge. By the time police found Bryce, however, she was in no state to give testimony on these events. While acting as official receiver in a bankruptcy, Crater sold a property at a tiny fraction of its assessed value. The city of New York later paid $3 million to get the property back. That translates into roughly $46 million in today's money. Some have suggested that this was part of a planned scheme and that the huge profits from the transaction may have led to the murder of Judge Crater. No evidence of murder or direct proof of corruption was ever found. The judge took the money and ran. The possibility exists that Judge Crater had been setting himself up in Canada. His wife knew nothing of their finances. It would have been a simple matter to quietly ferret away money in the months and years leading up to his disappearance. He gave himself a head start of at least several days, since his wife did not expect him until her birthday. As it turned out, he was not reported missing for a month, more than enough time to start his new life. What do you think happened to Judge Crater? Leave your theories and comments down below. As always, please like and share the videos. Click my face in the corner to subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell icon up above so you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is the Average Me channel.